When will you stand up to them and say that is enough?
The end result of the fraud and abuse that has been discovered already.
After Elon Musk drug-induced rambling weird interview the other day, I didn't think that any CPAC speech or really any CPAC moment could get stranger than that. But then Donald Trump decided he was going to double down on the disaster of Elon and give his own screech really rather than a speech, because the entire time he was glitching out, acting even stranger than usual, and started screaming at one point and just making really weird noises. We are going to get into it all. It was incredibly strange. We're going to break it down. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into that screeching moment, first, I want to hear where Donald Trump started the speech attacking your Social Security.
Hopefully in this room will, but there are in the Social Security ranks and files, and what we're doing now is finding out, do they get paid? Do they get paid? In other words, is somebody taking all of this money? So they have over 100 to 109, 4.7 million Social Security numbers. Think of that, from people whose age is over 100. 3.6 million people whose age is over 110 years. 3.47 million people who are over 120 years of age. 3.9 million people whose age goes from 130 to 139 years of age. 3.5 million whose age goes from 140 to 149 years old. 1.3, see, it's coming down now slowly. No, it's all a scam. The whole thing is a scam.
So this has been a big topic of conversation for Trump and Elon. It's really the issue they want to hit on most, and they have been using this lie, saying that there are tens of millions of dead people who are ostensibly 140 to 150 years old collecting Social Security. They're trying to push this misinformation because they have the huge platform to do it. So people start to think Social Security must be broken. Maybe it's all broken. Maybe we just get rid of it. Maybe we just privatize it. Because Donald Trump knows that the only way he can pass a $5 trillion tax cut for the richest people and corporations in our country is by making some big cuts to the government. And that's starting with your Social Security. That is what he wants to go after. But first, he has to push this lie. And it was not the only lie that he pushed in his SB in his speech. What a shock that Donald Trump is lying. Listen to what he had to say about working from home.
We're doing another thing. If they don't report for work, we're firing them. In other words, you have to go to office. Right? Right? Look at her. If you don't report to work, you know, that's another scam. You know, who the hell, if I'm staying home, I'm going to, let's see, my golf handicap would get down to very low number. You'd be shocked if I told you the real number. But I would be so good, I'd try and get on tour. I would be so good. I'd call up, I'd say, listen, I'm really working here. Where are my clubs? Where are my clubs? Either that, or in many cases they have second jobs while they're getting paid by us. So one of the reasons they're leaving is because they don't want to have to show that. And we're demanding to see that information. How many jobs have you had? Who paid you while you were working for the government? And we are demanding that people, if they work for the government, they have to show up and sit in an office and do.
He's actually contradicting himself. And of course he doesn't. He doesn't care at all. But the fact of Trump, who has spent like half the days working from home, working from Mar-a-Lago, golfing through his presidency so far. And by the way, it's cost us, the taxpayers, about $15 million for him to do that. And that's just going into his own pockets. What a shock there. there, but it's just stupid that he can fire people for this. But him as the president of the United States doesn't have to do any work. And it's not like, the work that he does is positive, but it is the reason why people are already so fed up. And apparently Trump doesn't understand that. Because listen to what he had to say right here.
And our approval rating is now the highest ever across all demographics. Rasmussen just came out at 56%, Insider Advantage 56%, RMG Research 57%, and we have many polls in the mid-60s, one at 71%. We like that, 71.
This is his new coping mechanism, understanding that he is incredibly unpopular. I've said this before. I know that Trump only surrounds himself with yes men, but Trump 2.0 must have just like the worst ass kissers. Because to think that he has like a 56 or he said like a 72% approval rating, they have to just be lying to him in the White House for him to even remotely believe that when his approval rating at this point in his presidency is actually worse than any president in history. And it's the reason why he's kind of losing it all and going back to the places he feels most safe, which is quite literally screaming about immigration.
That he didn't like people running into our country and taking over our country. I'll tell you, I had 4 years. I don't know if you had this. I couldn't stand it. Don't get angry. Donald, don't get angry, please. I couldn't stand it. Watching these people come in from jails and mental institutions and the worst criminals in the street, gang members being dropped off in buses and bussed into our country. I couldn't stand it. So I said, I'm going to run for president again. And now we don't have that problem.
He's like gargling and gritting his teeth and like huffing and puffing. He was it's just weird. It's getting strange. I've never seen that. And a comedian made a joke once about how Donald Trump clearly doesn't understand how a microphone works, because whenever he's like up close and personal, he talks kind of quiet. It's down here. And then when he gets in front of a mic, I'm not going to do it. But he's like, we got to go get him. Too. And sorry for doing that. Trump voice, but it's like he clearly just doesn't understand how it works. But that screaming was especially weird, and somehow not as weird as what he had to say right here.
Of dollars to countries that hate us, and I signed an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency. You probably haven't heard of it, which is now waging war on government waste, fraud, and abuse. And Elon is doing a great job. He's doing a great job. We love Elon, don't we? It's that guy, he's a character. With his son X. We love X. He's the only one can get away. His son's really named X. He's the only one can get away with naming his son X. If we ever did it, they'd say, you're crazy. But he's great. He's doing a great job. And
No, Donald L. is not doing a great job. Who would in their right mind think that Elon is doing a great job with Doge? The funny thing about Doge actually for Trump, well, it's not funny for him. It certainly is for us, is that if Elon was not attached to the Trump presidency, and again, I don't actually believe this, but there's a possibility that it might still be going okay for him. Like the most unpopular aspect of his presidency so far has been all of the cuts that Doge has made. All of the Elon circus of it all is what people are most upset about. And so, in fact, Elon is the most damaging political, not, asset, but liability that Donald Trump has. And I guess he's just rolling with it. I guess he loves the cuts. I guess he loves the billionaires. He loves the attention he loves. I don't know. I guess his first lady and Elon, I haven't seen much of Melania lately. I've seen a lot of Elon, though it's been a lot of Elon, and voters are sick and tired of it. And two clips really spell that out. The first, Elon getting booed. The second of Jessica Tarlov.
When will you stand up to them and say that is enough?
the end result of the fraud and abuse that has been discovered already.
Absolutely no proof.
But what James Carville is referring to is this huge drop in support for President Trump and for Elon Musk and what he's doing at Doge. So there were a bunch of polls that came out. CNN has 2-to-1 people are upset about Musk having such a prominent role in the government. Trump's approval rating is down 5 to 7 points across 4 of these big polls. He's underwater on managing the economy, which is obviously what handed him the presidency, 8 points underwater. And then in terms of how the public is feeling, not only reflected in those numbers, did you see those town halls that were going on last night? So Rich McCormick in Georgia, safe seat, people booing him, catcalling. They're concerned with everything from spending cuts to what's going on with Doge to that Donald Trump is becoming a tyrant. Cliff Bentz in Oregon, similar reaction. This guy, Tony Balderson, he's in a Trump plus 18 district in Ohio, saying Trump's executive orders are getting out of control. They are hearing from the American public that what is going on from the Oval Office to CPAC, which is, Pam Bondi being at CPAC seems like a politicization of the office, to say the least, is not what the American public wanted. They wanted someone to come in to get the economy back on track. That hasn't been happening. They wanted a different vision of getting rid of illegal immigrants. They wanted people who are actually convicted of crimes to be the ones getting kicked out, not just picking up anyone who speaks Spanish. So that's what Carville's saying, and I think it's good strategy. Let it happen.
I love how that Republican member of Congress is just like even trying to get through a sentence about, well, and he looks so defeated. Well, maybe the cuts, we'll see very soon. The cuts are going to help. And just like instantly, just like no throwing tomatoes. It's just like they're just so fed up. And what's the funniest thing is Rich MC, that the guy we originally saw booed at that CNN town hall, that's like a Republican plus 35 district. Like that's super deep MAGA, and those people are furious. But it's because, as I know and you do as well, the people who require the most federal assistance are people in red states and in red counties. These are Republican voters. And I don't want to say like they're learning their lesson, but they're kind of learning their lesson right now. And they're furious, and they are going after their own Republican politicians. A great example came in this clip right here.
I'm a registered Republican voter and retired active Army officer. How can you tell me that Doge, with some college whiz kids from a computer terminal in Washington, D.C., without even getting out into the field, after about a week or maybe 2, has determined that it's okay to cut veterans' benefits?
I think a couple things. Let me give you an example. Did you know that the VA was in charge of payments for illegals for housing? Basically, the VA. No,
I'd like for you to send me. Could you send me that reference so I could research that? Because no, I'm not aware of that. And I would tell you that that's a red herring, a false flag. If you're throwing that kind of political stuff up, trying to cut veterans' benefits, that's very alarming to me.
This is our moment. We have to seize on it now. More than ever, let's have our voices heard. All the momentum is on our side, and it happens so quickly, so let's keep it up. And we are going to be talking about that on the show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you hit that subscribe button. You leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around at the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.